Hi there, how's everyone doing? This is Professor Johannes from Johns Hopkins University. Today, I am very pleased to launch my new series on climate change and energy transition. I'm going to post educational videos about the greatest challenge of our civilization, which is climate change, and the need for an energy transition. In this video, we are going to start with the basics. What is energy? What is energy transition? And what is special about the energy transition that we are facing right now? Before we get to the details, make sure to like this video, make sure to subscribe to my channel if you are interested in content like this. These are really important issues, regardless of your sector, regardless of your job, you're going to be dealing with climate change and energy transition moving forward. There's just no way you can avoid it in this day and age. To get us started, let's first just talk about the basics of energy. Energy is really what we use to get physical work done. We use energy to heat. We use energy for lighting. We use energy for any kind of motion, driving a car, taking a train, taking a flight, even walking, kinetic motion, right? We use electricity for our appliances. Today, we get our energy from many different sources. These include biomass, like firewood. They include fossil fuels, oil, gas, and coal. Hydroelectric power from dams, nuclear power, geothermal, and solar and wind power from wind turbines and solar panels. Some of these are very polluting, like for example, oil, coal, and gas. These are fossil fuels. They produce air pollution and they produce carbon dioxide, other greenhouse gases that contribute to climate change. Others, like solar and wind power, are quite clean. Any kind of energy is always going to have some environmental impact, but renewable sources are cleaner than fossil fuels. And that is a key reason why we are trying to move away from fossil fuels and toward renewables. As we make this move away from fossil fuels, we are basically going through an energy transition. So the energy transition as a concept refers to the idea that in an economy, the dominant fuel changes. And to understand this idea, let's take a look at world energy consumption over time in this graph. What we see in this graph is global direct primary energy consumption from the year 1800 till 2019. And if you look at 1800, it was really all just biomass. Makes sense, right? You have families cooking on firewood, you have some heating in colder countries. That's about it. There's no modern technology, there's no industrial revolution, there's no electricity. As we approach the end of the 19th century, coal begins to grow. This is the first energy transition. The steam engine is invented in Great Britain, and that becomes the dominant fuel for sailing, for trains, for industry, for heating, for cooking. By the mid-20th century, oil starts to take over. Why? Cars. Cars become the primary source of energy growth, and that's how we begin to live in an oil economy, right? Second energy transition. Today, we are approaching the third energy transition, and this is the big one. We've now used coal, we've used oil, we've also used a lot of natural gas for electricity and industry, and now we need to get away from these fossil fuels. So today's energy transition is very special because it is not only about cost and efficiency, it's also about the environment. How do we avoid runaway climate change, which would threaten all of us? Climate change is a really scary and dangerous phenomenon, and to deal with it, we need cleaner energy sources. Energy is the most important driver of climate change today. So now we need sources like solar power and wind power, and they are becoming very competitive. In most places today, they're actually cheaper than coal-fired power generation or natural gas-fired power generation. But how do we integrate large amounts of this electricity into our system? How do we find alternative sources for other areas, industry, transportation, maybe electric vehicles, right? how do we do all this? How do we transition into a clean energy system? As you can see in the graph, we still have a long way to go. You can see there's not a whole lot of renewable energy in the system overall just yet, but we are getting there. In the second graph, you can see investments. You can see over $500 billion in energy transition and over $300 billion a year in renewables alone. So basically, today's energy transition is already ongoing, and there's only one way we can go. We are going to use less fossil fuel over time, maybe slowly, it might take some time, and we're going to use more renewables. The share of renewables is going to grow. It's not going to be easy, it's going to be very challenging, but that's where we are going. The question is just, can we move fast enough to do this? Let's recap. First, we use energy to get physical work done. Modern economy is very dependent on abundant and affordable energy. Second, energy transition is when the dominant fuel changes in an economy. First it was firewood and biomass, then it was coal, then it was oil and gas, and now we are moving into a renewable energy dominated system, which is really important to stop climate change. I hope you enjoyed this short video. If you did, remember to like and subscribe, and also share your comments. What do you think of this energy transition business? Do you think it's going to be fast? Do you think it's going to be slow? Please join the conversation, as this is the most important conversation our civilization is going to have this century. If we cannot solve climate change, the rest is just academic. And I say that as an academic. Thanks so much, and see you next time. Bye-bye.